I am Paul Giblin. I will be running at the Malnad Ultra first week in October. Looking forward to that. I'm just out in Chamonix at the moment, and if you watched the last video, I did promise you a few tips, I'm going to do five top tips for your final 5 weeks of training before the race. So I hope they're useful, hope you get something from them, and I cannot wait to see you soon in India. Yeah! So, number one is mobility. Now, this is something I do with all my athletes. They all have to do some mobility work, so the training doesn't finish just when your run finishes. You need to look after yourself. So these are some things you can do in front of the TV at night, or however you like to spend your time. It doesn't take long, just to get into a routine to look after your body. Find any tight spots and just work through them. So that's definitely my number one recommendation. Next up is hydration. Yeah, you've got to drink plenty. So don't think of hydration just about training and racing and what you're going to do when you're actually on the day at Malnad. It's really important that you hydrate properly right the way through your training and every day, really. Recent research has suggested that there's millions of people across the world who are chronically dehydrated, and these are people with good access to water, so we shouldn't be letting that happen. So I suggest grab yourself one of these, refillable, fill it 2 or 3 times a day, take it with you everywhere you go, into the office while you're travelling, on your way back from training runs. You've always got access to some water. Just keep it topped up, and anytime you feel thirsty, just keep taking a drink. So it's really important. It really helps with your performance, it'll help with your recovery, and it'll also help with reducing any chances of any kind of soft tissue injuries or heat related trouble too. So definitely worth doing and making a point of doing it. You can fill it with stuff, you can put herbs, you can put lemons in it, you can put whatever you want in it just to keep it fresh and keep it different. So it's definitely something I do and something you should be doing too over the next 5 weeks and more. Next up is race planning. So you've trained well, you've been looking after yourself, you've been doing your mobility, you've been drinking plenty and eating well, so you're just going to turn up at the race and just see what happens. No, of course you're not. You need to set some goals, whatever those goals might be, and they don't have to be super ambitious goals, but you should have an idea in your mind of what it is you want to achieve when you go to the race at Malnad. So have a think about that, and then don't just think, oh, I'm going to achieve whatever time. You need to build a plan around that. So you need to spend some time looking at the course profile, understanding where there are checkpoints, where you might eat, where you might meet any crew if you're meeting anybody, and where you might have to work harder than other points, and maybe where you can take it a little bit easier. So good races don't just happen on their own, they don't just happen through good training. You really need to plan your race strategy, and you can do that, you know, you can do that anytime now really, but certainly I'd be working on it a couple of weeks before the race, and just really understand what's involved with the race, what the terrain's going to be like, how much climbing, how much descending, where you might be strong and where you might struggle, just to reduce the chances of things going wrong on the day. So you need to plan, plan, plan. And I'm off to do my plan for TDS. See you soon. Tip number 5 weeks out, you should really be building to a peak in terms of your training. So it's important that you still, you know, get your long runs done at the weekend or whenever you can fit in your long runs. And I would use them really as a good opportunity to test out what you're going to do in the race itself. So test out your hydration plan, test out your nutrition. Don't be waiting until the race until you try something for the first time, because it just might not agree with your stomach. So use it as a mini race opportunity to test everything out, so that you're really comfortable and confident going into the race and you leave nothing to chance. And finally, tip number 5. You should be taking the race seriously, taking your training seriously, but you do have to remember to enjoy yourself. You do have to remember why you run, and it should be fun as well. we can get very caught up in the outcome of the race itself, so achieving the time or the position that you want, or even just completing the race if it's your first one. So that's fine, and you should be focused on that, but you should also remember to enjoy the journey too. So it's not always the outcome that matters, and I love running, you love running, so we shouldn't forget that no matter what races we're doing and how seriously we take it. We're doing it for the love of running, being out there on some beautiful trails. You guys live in an amazing country, so you're pretty lucky. You get to run some nice places. So remember that, lift your head, look around sometimes. Hopefully you'll get a great result at the end. So I look forward to seeing you soon in Malnad. Yeah!